Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. Before we dive into this heartwarming story, hit subscribe so you'll never miss the most courageous dog tales we share every day. Have you ever had a gut feeling about someone? That quiet, persistent voice in your head that whispers, something isn't right. For the Jones family, that voice didn't come from a person. It came from a retired search and rescue dog whose past held a dark secret, and whose instincts were about to save them all from a danger they never saw coming. The quiet rhythm of Atlanta's suburbia was a stark contrast to Hunter's past life. Years ago, Hunter wasn't just a Labrador. He was a canine officer, a four-legged warrior who had served on a high-stakes narcotics unit. His career ended not with a whimper, but with a bang. A raid gone wrong, leaving him with a limp and a deep psychological wound. He now lived a peaceful life with the Jones family, a gentle giant to Naya and David, and a loyal companion to Maya and David. But peace was fragile. When Clarice, the new babysitter, walked in, that peace shattered. She was charming, polished, with a smile that could disarm anyone, but Hunter saw through the facade. A low, menacing growl rumbled from his chest, a sound that brought back echoes of his past. He placed himself protectively between Clarice and the children, his body a shield. Maya and David, exhausted by work, dismissed it as old age and grumpiness. "He's old school," David said with a laugh. "He just doesn't like new people." They, like so many of us, chose to believe what they saw, not what they felt. The tension escalated in a series of small, unsettling moments. One day, as Clarice tried to play a game with Nia, Hunter let out a bark so furious it knocked over a vase. The sound was deafening, the silence that followed even more so. David was furious. But in that moment Maya noticed something she hadn't before. There was no anger in Hunter's eyes, only a desperate, silent plea. This wasn't a tantrum. It was a warning, a desperate cry for help from a veteran who knew danger when he smelled it. This is a powerful lesson in trusting your instincts, even when they seem inconvenient or illogical. We are conditioned to believe what we see. Perfect resumes, charming smiles. But sometimes, the truth is not what's presented to us, but what's hidden just beneath the surface. It's in the silent language of a dog's growl, a language that speaks louder than any human can. The tension in the Joneses' home became a heavy fog no one wanted to walk through. Clarice, now visibly unnerved by Hunter, kept her distance. She subtly planted seeds of doubt, suggesting Hunter's behavior was a threat to the children. "Maybe he needs to be crated when I'm here," she'd say, her voice calm, her eyes sharp. Maya, still torn, felt the weight of her own doubt pressing down on her. Could she trust the dog she'd known for years? Or the seemingly perfect babysitter? The truth came with a crash. While Maya was on a crucial Zoom meeting, a loud, violent bark from Hunter, followed by a smash of glass, shattered the fragile piece. Rushing downstairs, Maya found Hunter, body rigid, pinning Clarice against the kitchen counter. A small, clear vial had fallen from Clarice's purse onto the floor. "It's just my insulin," Clarice stammered, her composure crumbling. But David, having just walked in, picked up the vial. "Insulin isn't usually unlabeled and hidden under a wallet," he said, his voice flat. Clarice's face drained of all color before she bolted out the front door. Being shaken, the Jones family reviewed the Nest Cam footage, the chilling truth unspooled before their eyes. The video showed Clarice, in a moment of unguarded privacy, taking a bottle of juice from the fridge and discreetly leaning over, her body blocking the camera, to drop a small, clear substance into the bottle. It was a silent, horrifying act of malice. This wasn't a case of a bad employee. This was a calculated act of violence. The polished facade had cracked, and what lay beneath was pure evil. The lesson here is profound and terrifying. We're taught to trust the system. Background checks, references, clean records. But what do you do when the system is not enough? This is the story of a family that had to learn to trust the silent warning of a dog, because a monster in a human suit had fooled everyone but him. The subsequent police investigation took a turn that sent shivers down their spines. Officer Marcus of the Atlanta PD, an old friend of Hunter's canine handler, recognized the dog's alert posture instantly. His skepticism vanished when he showed them a file. "Clarice is an alias," he said. "Her real name is Karen Russo, a master of disguise. She's been wanted for questioning for years, but we've never been able to make a charge stick." But then he presented a new theory. "We believe she might have a connection to a specific canine unit that was dismantled a few years ago. We think she holds a grudge." The plot thickened with the mind games. Karen began sending them twisted messages. A small package arrived, not with a bomb, but with a set of children's books, their pages replaced with clippings from old crime scene photos. photos that eerily resembled cases from Hunter's canine days. Then, a chilling discovery was made at a motel where she had been staying: a paw print on a mirror, a twisted signature. It wasn't just a threat to the family, it was a direct challenge to Hunter. The hero of the story had an old nemesis, and the game had turned deadly personal. For the Jones family, the realization was gut-wrenching. They were not just random victims, they were caught in a private war. Maya, using her skills as a data analyst, began to work with Marcus, connecting the dots of Karen's aliases and locations. David, with his project management background, helped coordinate the new security measures. They were no longer passive victims, they were fighters, and their courage was fueled by a simple, terrifying truth: their dog was at the center of a vendetta. The biggest lesson here is that our past can catch up to us, and the battles we fought long ago may not be as over as we think. This is a story about a family that learned to fight, not just for themselves, but for their loyal, four-legged protector, who had become the target of an enemy they never knew existed. The cat-and-mouse game reached its terrifying climax. Hunter, ever vigilant, began sniffing relentlessly at a kitchen vent. David, on a hunch, opened it and found a sophisticated listening device. Karen had been listening to their every word, their every fear. This was the final straw. The family, with the help of Officer Marcus and the FBI, decided to set a trap. They evacuated the children and Maya, leaving the house to David and Hunter. The stage was set for the final confrontation. The tension was palpable. The house was empty, save for David, who waited with a tranquilizer gun, and Hunter, a shadow in the darkness. The hours stretched on, each minute an eternity. Then, they heard it. A soft click at the back door. A motion detector tripped, a second of movement on the security cameras. Karen was here. The final hunt had begun. She moved with a chilling, practiced ease, a ghost in the night. She found the back door slightly ajar. The bait. She slipped inside, a look of twisted triumph on her face. But as she moved down the hallway, Hunter emerged from the shadows. This was not the gentle family pet. This was the veteran canine officer. Clarice's face contorted in a sneer. "You should have stayed retired," she hissed, pulling a knife from her boot. But Hunter didn't flinch. In that moment, he was no longer a dog haunted by his past. He was the warrior he was born to be. With a single, powerful move, he lunged, not to kill, but to incapacitate. He clamped down on her knife arm, immobilizing her. The FBI team, led by Marcus, swarmed the house, securing Karen. The nightmare was over. The lesson in this is simple but profound. A true hero's last job is never done. It's a battle not for money or fame, but for the people they love. Hunter, a dog with a haunted past, found his purpose not in a uniform, but in the love of a family. He proved that even when you are knocked down, you can rise again, not for the glory, but for the fight that truly matters. In the quiet aftermath, the Jones family began to heal. The silence that now filled their home was a balm for their wounded souls. Hunter, his duty done, finally found peace. He no longer paced at the door. He slept soundly, his chest rising and falling in deep, even breaths. The war was over, and the veteran could finally rest. But the story of his heroism was just beginning. The state governor, moved by the story, awarded Hunter the Medal of Civilian Valor at a public ceremony. The news went viral, and Hunter became a symbol of courage and loyalty. But for the Jones family, his legacy was more than a medal. David started a blog called Hunter Knows, where he shared their story and urged others to listen to their pets' instincts. The blog became a community, a place where people shared their own stories of pets saving the day. It was a powerful testament to the bond between humans and animals. The story ends not with a grand victory, but with a quiet, powerful moment. Months later, Maya and David sat on their porch, watching their children play with Hunter. "We almost didn't believe him," Maya said, her voice soft. David nodded. "We almost missed everything. The warnings, the danger, the truth." He looked at Hunter, who was dozing peacefully. "Trust," he said, "is a funny thing. Sometimes it doesn't come from a person. Sometimes it barks." This story is a reminder that some of the most important lessons in life don't come from words, but from gut feelings, from the unwavering loyalty of a best friend. Thank you for listening to this story. I hope it resonated with you. What do you think about Hunter's bravery? Have you ever had a similar experience where your pet's instinct saved the day? Share your story in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you'll never miss the most courageous dog tales we share every day.